Thank you, sir. Mr. Crane, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral Fagan, thank you so much for coming today. I want to start by asking you to tell me about recruitment deficits that you've seen.
We began to have a deficit in recruiting several years ago, and it was exacerbated by COVID. We've seen the rebound from the COVID effect. I appreciate the support of the committee and our overseers who've allowed us to make investments back into recruiters. We've professionalized our talent acquisition specialists. All that has paid dividends. We have, as of 2 weeks ago, the number of reservations, so that means people who are planning to go through Cape May, that we need to consider a full successful year and meet our recruiting. The workforce we're recruiting is second to none. They know why they're joining, and they understand the value proposition to the American public.
Why do you think you guys are failing to hit your numbers right now?
It was a combination of capacity, and we've reinvested in that capacity. We are not always understood by the totality of the American people, so beginning to increase awareness and understanding of who we are as a Coast Guard. And just as the shipyards are looking for workforce, we're competing with employers and other militaries, across the country for workforce. And young people have had some feelings with regard to work, and all of that has come together to make it a challenge.
Yeah, thank you, Admiral. What additional workload has been put on the Coast Guard and our sailors because we have a commander-in-chief who signaled to the rest of the entire world that we're about to throw our southern border wide open? And I know that you have to be careful in how you answer that. I'll make that claim because I know I'm able to watch cause and effect, and I'm not in your position. I don't wear your uniform, and that's not my chain of command. But with the policy changes of this federal government over the last couple of years, what additional workload has that put on your workforce, Admiral?
We view our role in preventing and interdicting migrants at sea as critical life-saving work, and we continue to ensure that we've got presence that's needed to prevent.
Ma'am, real quick, that's not what I asked you. I know that that's a part of what you guys have to do, and it does absorb resources. I'm asking you to give us an understanding of how much of an additional workload that's put on your resources, your infrastructure, your personnel because of the policy. Can you even give me a percentage?
Certainly happy to come over. We can walk you through all of the flows of migrants over the last several years. This year and today.
Has there been any study to calculate the additional man hours?
I can share with you the ebb and flow of man hours and resources that we've put into the migrant.
But you don't know it off the top of your head, Admiral?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't, because those resources also do other missions as we have them at sea. But happy to work with your staff and give you more specifics.
Thank you, Admiral. Admiral Fagan, how do you assess the current state of readiness and preparedness of the U.S. Coast Guard to operate and respond effectively in the Arctic region, especially coordinating with your naval counterparts?
We operate the nation's surface assets in the Arctic. And the Coast Guard Cutter Healy, in fact, is operating in the high latitudes today, conducting science operations, creating presence for us as a nation. And we work and interoperate up there with other military services, other Arctic nations' military services, and create that on-scene presence in our own exclusive economic zone in the Arctic.
Admiral Fagan, what DEI program implementations have been made in the Coast Guard within the last couple of years?
We are hiring talent as a service, the best talent that's
I don't need the bullet point, ma'am. We all know that every institution within this federal government has now been plagued by this cancer of DEI. Instead of hiring people based on their merit alone, I'm asking you what programs have been implemented within the last couple of years that focus solely on diversity, equity, and inclusion?
I'll have the staff give you, we value diversity, but the talent.
Ma'am, we've always valued diversity in this country, but we all know that we used to have a system that was more based on merit. I'm asking you specific questions about what specific programs have been implemented under your watch within the last couple of years that focus on DEI.
I'll have the staff work with your staff. I can't immediately say this program initiated in the last 2 years. Again, the programs all focus on ensuring workforce that meets the standards is able to serve honorably in the service, and that we hire a workforce that meets our standards.
Thank you,
Gentlemen,
Admiral. I
gentlemen's
yield back.
time's